Okay, next up, I want to talk to you about the Power Hour. This is your pregame Power Hour. Now, what's kind of interesting to me, now that I look back with a little bit of clarity on my life and on how things have been going for me, when my kids were little, like playing Little League stuff, and we'd have to travel to, somewhere for the game, they would always have the kids show up an hour early. And it drove me nuts. These are just little kids and they're just playing a game that doesn't really matter. They're not getting an NBA contract out of this or anything. But yet the coaches wanted them there an hour early. Even if they did practice the day before, even if they did practice that morning, they wanted them there early and in preparation. Well, how often do we start our day, start life by checking our phone, by looking at our email, by checking Facebook or other social media posts? How often do we start our day living very reactionary, with whatever has gone on, during the night? We have this fear of missing out or something like that. Well, I have studied the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet, and almost all of them have sort of a routine, a pattern that they will follow in their lives. And so often, anyways, and I've grabbed the best of the best and put it in this Power Hour. You do not have to use an entire hour for it. I do. And I find that I live with much more clarity and peace when I do kind of this whole section. And it takes me about an hour to do that. But when I do, I am more in charge of my day. I'm not living reactionary and running from one thing to the next. And it's been phenomenal. So let me explain just a little bit about this. So first of all, in the mind. And the way this is set up is that you can pick two. You can pick three. You don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do any of them. But it's set up kind of like a game that you can jump into and get great stuff out of it. So first of all, journal dump any thoughts that came in the night. If you tapped into your subconscious mind and wrote down what you want to do, your mind to work on over the night. That is a fantastic way to then capitalize on what your subconscious mind has been working on. And I'll tell you a story about that later in one of the other videos. You can listen to inspiring music that fuels the spirit. You can read 10 pages of a book. You can listen to a podcast. What's fun is these are check marks. And so you can go through it and immediately, just by doing a few little activities, suddenly you've started with a win. You are doing something very intentional, something that you chose to do, and something that is going to make your life better. You can review a lesson from an online course, list 5 things you're grateful for. I want to make sure that you know this, but in the back section, there is a gratitude journal, if you can see that. And so you can keep all of your things together in your gratitude journal. I like to start out my gratitude journal saying, I am so happy and grateful that, and then I will write what I'm happy and grateful for, because happiness and gratitude really go hand in hand. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But this will give you an opportunity to start your day very intentionally with checkmark kinds of things, to where they're small attainable goals, small attainable tasks that puts you in charge of your mindset. Again, think about Little League players, or NFL players for that matter, NBA players or musicians. Even though they practice all the time, they show up early to a game, and they are there and they are focused and they're ready for the day. Some of the most successful CEOs on the planet are successful because they focus on what they want to accomplish that day, and they get those things done in the morning when they don't have distractions. They get their mindset right. They really focus. And so anyway, this will give you kind of an opportunity to be very focused on what you'd like to accomplish and to get yourself in that realm. Okay, so this end game, do all of these. Make sure you set your intention for the day. Visualize something that you want to manifest for 2 minutes. Now, actually, I do have to back up. If visualizing is something that falls outside of your belief system, that's fine. Just put that on the shelf, move it away. You don't have to worry about that right now. But listen to it. Think about, well, maybe there's something there. I remember when I first heard about, well, I'm going to talk about visualizing later. Okay, so we'll skip that. But if you are into visualizing, how often do you do it? If you can set a consistent routine for yourself to where you're spending at least 2 minutes every day doing that, you're able to manifest a lot faster because you're focused and you're consistent and you're using repetition. So that is on one of the do all for the end game section. And then the get happy now. I have a lot of resources for you if you would like to tap into this stuff. There's an app called Feed Your Happy I created. Awesome. It will give you activities to do each day to be in charge of what happiness really is happiness is a skill. And if you are not happy at least once a day, if you cannot self-spark your own happiness, even when things are looking horrible or whatever circumstance you're in, tap into my resources. I have an app. I have a book, The 7 Core Skills of Everyday Happiness. I have an online course that will give you a 10-minute routine to do each day that will change you when you take a skills-based approach to happiness. But if you are not happy every single day for at least part of it, you're doing something wrong. And I say that because I was doing something wrong for a decade of my life where I was so frustrated I was not happy. And when I found out it was a skill and that I was self-sabotaging myself, that was the end of that. And now I've been very intentional and deliberate. So again, this is the pregame power hour. Morning routines are absolutely fabulous. Now, you might be a person who is a night person. They call them night owls. And maybe you are most creative at night. That's fine. Do the things at night that make the most sense to you. But do spend time each morning being deliberate about what you'd like to accomplish. Focus on what your intention is. And figure out your purpose. Anyway, when you do that, you're going to find that you are more in charge of your day and your life. You are not putting out fires all day, but you at least started with the game plan the way that you wanted to. So that's a little bit about the Power Hour overview, and I'll catch you on the next video.